There's a profound difference between a full life and a full house. I know. I have both. For 67 years, I collected life, and I collected things. Now, I find my house is winning the battle. It's suffocating the life. We spend our younger years accumulating books, degrees, furniture, memories. We think these possessions define us, that they are the evidence of our existence. I look at my library, filled with first edition copies I hunted down in the roaring 80s. I feel a flicker of the old pride. Then my eyes try to focus on the tiny print, and the familiar ache in my neck reminds me I haven't actually read one in years. They're just heavy blocks of paper now, polished wood and gilded spines that I dust every Tuesday. We spend the second half of our lives being slowly, quietly crushed by the weight of the things we once loved so dearly. At 3 a.m, when the house is deathly silent, the real truth whispers to me. The enemy isn't the number 67. It isn't my aching knees or the reading glasses I can never seem to find. The real enemy is my attic. More precisely, it's the staircase I must climb to get to it. Each step is a careful negotiation with gravity and pain. Up there, in neatly labeled boxes, rests my past identity. Carol, Principal's Office, 1995 to 2015. Children's School Projects. It is a meticulously curated museum of a woman I used to be, and I am its sole exhausted curator. The dust isn't just dust. It's a heavy blanket settling over my future energy. This house, my beautiful, immaculate house, has become a fortress against tomorrow, designed only to preserve yesterday. It is a slow, silent theft of vitality happening under my own roof. People sometimes comment on my energy. They see a spark in my eyes and mistake it for good genes or a lucky disposition. They want to know the secret. They think the answer comes in a bottle or from a doctor's prescription. But the secret to the light you see in the eyes of certain women my age isn't found in a pharmacy. It's found in an empty dumpster. It is the direct result of a conscious, sometimes brutal choice to stop curating the past and start living whatever is left of the present. We don't feel younger because of what we put on our face. We feel younger because of what we have finally taken out of our space. Listen to me very carefully now. I am telling you this because it took me nearly 7 decades to understand it. And I am desperately hoping you won't have to be as slow or as stubborn as I have been. What I am about to share can give you back years, not years of life, but years of living. I think of my Aunt Eleanor, a woman who built a life as solid as the brick of her house on Elm Street, where she lived for 50 years. In her guest room, there was a closet that was not a closet. It was a shrine, hanging in a thick, clear plastic bag was her wedding dress from 1972, a cascade of satin that still held the ghost of its original gleam. Beside it, my Uncle Carmine's wedding suit, just as perfectly preserved. For decades, those garments were untouchable, sacred relics of a perfect day. After Carmine passed in the early 2000s, that closet door rarely opened. When it did, you could smell the mothballs fighting a losing battle with the scent of stagnant grief. Eleanor wasn't storing clothes. She was guarding an altar to a life that had already been lived, and she was paying for it with the present moment's rent. One particularly wet spring in 2018, the house finally showed its age. A copper pipe in the attic, hidden behind drywall and forgotten for decades, developed a pinhole leak. It wasn't a dramatic flood. It was something far more insidious. A slow, relentless drip. One drop, then another, landing silently on a ceiling joist, soaking into the plaster of the guest room ceiling, and then finding its way down, right into that sacred closet. For weeks, the only sign was a faint, musty smell in the upstairs hallway that Eleanor dismissed as the dampness of the season. She didn't know that the leak was a quiet assassin, meticulously destroying the one thing she was trying so desperately to keep frozen in time. The procrastination of a simple plumbing check was about to cost her more than money. The phone call came on a Tuesday afternoon. Her voice wasn't just sad. It was the broken sound of a person who has discovered a tomb has been desecrated. When I arrived, the smell hit me at the door. It was the smell of rot and old sorrows mixed together. Eleanor stood frozen a few feet from the closet, pointing, unable to speak. The bottom of the white door was stained with a pale brown watermark. I pulled it open, and the squeal of the hinges was followed by the sickening sight. The beautiful dress was no longer white. It was a mottled canvas of brown and gray, with fuzzy green colonies of mildew blooming across the bodice. The air that rushed out was heavy and cold, the breath of a space where something had well and truly died. I reached in to pull the dress out. It was shockingly heavy, sodden with stale water and the weight of years of neglect. The satin, once smooth, was now coarse and slimy, and the delicate lace tore like wet paper in my hands. Eleanor let out a sob, a sound that came from the deepest part of her. But then, as I held the ruined, foul-smelling fabric, something shifted in her eyes. Through the stream of tears, she looked at the mess in my hands, then at me, and whispered a truth she hadn't known until that very second. "He's not in this dress," she said, her voice clear for the first time. "Carmine's not in here. The wedding wasn't in this closet." In that moment, the destruction of the object didn't break her. It broke the spell she had been under for 20 years. That afternoon, we didn't just throw out the ruined dress. We emptied the entire closet. The suit, which had started to spot with mildew, went too. boxes of yellowed photographs, old hats, shoes she hadn't worn since 1985. The clatter of empty wooden hangers was the first cheerful sound that room had heard in a decade. A week later, she painted the closet interior a bright, clean white. She told me later that the flood, the loss of that dress, was the most liberating thing that had happened to her since Carmine's death. She realized she hadn't been preserving a memory. She had been guarding a ghost. The energy she had been pouring into that closet, into that stagnant grief, was suddenly hers again, free to be used on the days she had left to actually live. What Eleanor learned in that flooded closet is a truth we spend a lifetime avoiding. Your house is not a container for your things. It is a container for your mind. Every object you keep without a present-day purpose is a tenant that lives in your head, rent-free. That dusty set of golf clubs from 1994, that's not just a memory of your husband Carmine. It's a ghost you have to greet every time you open the garage. The sewing machine in the spare room, silent since Gloria went to college, it's the ghost of a past role you played. These phantoms don't just take up physical space, they take up mental bandwidth. They are silent, nagging reminders of a life that is over, of a body that can no longer do what it once did. They are decisions you've postponed, and each postponed decision is a small weight you add to your soul. You think you're honoring the past, but you're actually allowing it to colonize your present, leaving no room for your future. We fear empty spaces, an empty drawer, a clear shelf, a room with breathing room. We see it as a lack, a sign that our life is shrinking. But that is the great deception of a cluttered existence. That empty space is not a void. It is an invitation. It is the fertile ground where the next version of you gets to grow. The life you live after the children have left, after the career has ended, after the 50 years of accumulation. This is the stage for your third act, and the stage needs to be clear before the new play can begin. Freeing your home from the tyranny of someday and just in case is an act of profound self-respect. It's a declaration that your memories are not so fragile that they need to be stored in a box. They live within you. Your home at this stage of your life should not be a museum. It should be a launching pad, a place of lightness and energy, designed to propel you into your remaining days, not chain you to the ones that are gone. So where does this great excavation begin? Not in the attic, not in the garage. It begins beside your bed. Clear your nightstand first. Your day begins here, and it ends here. It should hold only what is necessary for rest and the immediate morning. A lamp, the book you are actively reading, a glass of water. That's it. Not the unpaid bill from 2 weeks ago. Not the 3 empty glasses. Not the jewelry you were too tired to put away. The philosophical reason is simple. A cluttered nightstand is a cluttered mind you take to bed with you. You cannot expect a restful sleep and a vibrant morning if the last thing you see at night and the first thing you see in the morning is a monument to yesterday's chaos and tomorrow's anxieties. Give yourself the gift of a clean slate twice a day. Next, you will practice what I call bookend your day decluttering. This is a non-negotiable ritual. It takes 20 minutes of your life, 10 minutes every morning and 10 minutes every evening. During this time, you do one thing. You walk through your main living areas and put things back in their designated homes. The coat goes in the closet. The mail goes on the desk. The mug goes in the dishwasher. This isn't about deep cleaning. It is a ritual of respect for your own time and your own space. You are training your mind to understand that your energy is a precious, finite resource. It is better spent on living, on learning, on laughing, rather than on managing the debris of a life that has already been lived. It is an act that declares, "This day is over, and I am ready for the next one." You must establish a no-fly zone. This is a sacred surface in your home that is permanently clear. For most, this should be the dining room table or the kitchen island. It is never to be used as a landing strip for mail, keys, backpacks, or half-finished projects. Its purpose is its original purpose: to share a meal, to prepare food, to have a conversation. A clear surface is an empty stage, inviting life to happen. It is a space of potential. A cluttered surface is a sign that the play is over and the audience has gone home, leaving only the mess behind. When you keep one surface clear, you send a powerful message to yourself and to the universe. I am still open for business. Life is still welcome here. It is a small act of defiance against the entropy of age. Now, a rule that will feel brutal at first, but will give you back hours of your life. Master the one-touch rule. Anything you pick up, a piece of mail, a coat you just took off, a coffee mug, must be dealt with immediately in that one touch. The mail is opened over the recycling bin and either filed or trashed. The coat is hung in the closet. The mug is rinsed and placed in the dishwasher. You do not put it down to deal with later, because later is a disease. Later is where your energy, your peace, and your vitality go to die. Each item you put down without resolving its purpose is a small debt you are taking out against your future self. These tiny debts accumulate into a mountain of mental burden. It is the low hum of unfinished business that poisons your rest. The one-touch rule is the cure. Do not think for a moment that this clutter is only physical. The heaviest burdens are often invisible. You must schedule a digital sunset once a week. Take 1 hour. Sit down with your computer or your phone and be ruthless. Unsubscribe from every single junk email that clogs your inbox. Delete the 5,000 blurry photos of a vacation from 2012. Clean the icons off your computer's desktop. Digital clutter is just as heavy as physical clutter, perhaps heavier. It screams at you with unmade decisions, unfulfilled promises, and constant demands for your attention. Each notification is a small theft of your focus. Cleaning your digital world is not a technological chore. It is an act of mental hygiene. It is like sweeping the floors of your own mind, creating a quiet space where you can actually hear yourself think. This next concept changed how I see everything. It is the container concept. It is simple. Everything you own must have a home, a container that is not overstuffed. If your sock drawer doesn't close easily, you do not need a bigger drawer or a clever organizer. You need fewer socks. If your bookshelves are double parked with paperbacks, you don't need another bookshelf. You need to release the books you will never read again. Setting physical boundaries for your belongings is a powerful way to learn how to set emotional boundaries in your own life. It is a physical declaration that you are the master of your environment, not the other way around. It proves that you have the power to decide what enough means, and you can enforce that limit. This isn't about minimalism. It's about mastery. And finally, a truth about legacy. As you get older, you start earmarking things for your children. Gloria will want this china set. The boys can split my tool collection. Stop this immediately. Your children do not want your things. They want your stories. They want your wisdom. So gift your knowledge, not your junk. Instead of leaving them a dusty china set, they will feel guilty about selling. Teach your daughter the recipe for the brisket you always served on it. Invite her over and create one last memory with those plates. Instead of leaving your son a garage full of tools he doesn't know how to use, spend a Saturday showing him how to fix a leaky faucet. Your legacy is not the stuff you accumulated. Things break, get lost, and are forgotten. Your legacy is your wisdom. It is the only thing that grows in value after you are gone. These things we hold on to, they represent a role we once played, a person we once were, the mother of young children, the rising professional, the beloved wife. We are terrified that if we let go of the object, the memory will vanish with it. Do this exercise with me, right now. Look around your room, or just close your eyes and think of the one closet or drawer you refuse to touch. Ask yourself, honestly, what am I truly afraid of losing if I let this go? What part of myself do I believe lives inside this object? I want you to share it in the comments below. Tell me which ghost is the hardest for you to exorcise. The wedding dress? The baby clothes? The unfinished projects? This isn't a space for judgment. It's a circle for us. learning to walk lighter together. The cost of ignoring this truth isn't some far-off, abstract consequence. It is a slow, creeping theft of your life force, and it starts with your body. At 67, a fall is not just a fall. It is a potential turning point from which you may never fully recover. Your cluttered home, the one you think is a symbol of your rich life, becomes a physical hazard. It is a minefield of trip and fall risks. The stack of magazines by the chair, the box you meant to take to the attic, the electrical cord snaking behind the sofa. These are not sentimental items. They are threats. Your home, which is meant to be your sanctuary, starts to actively work against you. It turns on you. And when your body fails you because your environment betrayed it, there are no second chances. You cannot take out a loan for retirement. You cannot borrow money to buy back your mobility. You are spending your finite health and wealth maintaining a museum instead of ensuring your own safety and freedom. But the true cost, the one that should keep you up at night, is the final insult. It is the legacy you will unintentionally leave behind. You will not be remembered for your love, your laughter, or the stories you told. You will be remembered for the grueling, month-long ordeal your children will face when they are forced to sift through 50 years of your accumulated indecisions. Each object they pick up from the dusty floor will not be a cherished memory. It will be a question mark. Did this matter to her? Should we keep it? They will argue. They will grow weary. Their grief for you will be suffocated by the sheer physical weight of your life's clutter. That is the ultimate regret. To have your final gift to the people you love most not be a comfortable inheritance or a treasure of fond memories, but a burden. To have the meaning of your entire existence be reduced to a question asked while standing over a rented dumpster. Now for the real work, the pact. Get a piece of paper and a pen. I'll wait. I want you to write down 3 things, just 3, that you are currently saving for someday. That bottle of wine, the silk scarf you've never worn, the phone call you've been meaning to make. Now, take your pen and forcefully cross out the word someday next to each one. Write down this month. This is no longer a wish. It is an appointment with your own joy. This journey of lightening your load, both physical and mental, is a practice. If you are ready to stop guarding ghosts and start living, then subscribe to this channel. Think of it as a commitment to your own well-being, a promise to walk lighter into your future. The time for curating the past is over. The time for living is now. So go live your life. I'll see you in the next one.